Well, that's what I heard. There we go.
Thank you for watching, everybody. How did I do that? Thank you for watching, everybody. We have a great show today with Diego Ugalde on Thursday, April 3rd, 2025 at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I don't even know what I just did. But yeah, for everybody listening, it was just beforehand. Yeah, I get into such like racehorse blinders on. Yeah, I've been doing this show for a little over 5 years. Is that like 1,718 or 19 episodes? And it's all a blur. And I've certainly hit the limit but there's like some neuroscience limit to like the number of like close interactions or like contacts you can have. I think it's like 150, which makes sense. That was like the size of the tribe 50,000 years ago. And I always got cocky because I'd be like, I interview hundreds of people and I know them all. And then around like a year or two ago, I realized I had hit the ceiling because just like today, we're texting you like we didn't have like we're not doing this or you didn't send me. I was like, wait, what the fuck did I not? Who the f-? And it all starts to run together, and so I'm actually kind of reaching a new state of this podcast, and it's like induced self-inflicted dementia to where when I talk to guests, I'm like, hey man, I gotta be totally honest. I don't know if that was a phone call, if that was a recorded show, or if that was a dream. Like I don't. I'm sorry. So that's kind of like my like blanket like hall pass to people when I fuck up now. I'm like, I just there's too much and it's me. The employee is me. It's run by me. I'm the sole employee and employer. Like, yeah. So yeah, dude, introduce yourself and then we'll just I don't know, wing it.
Okay. My name's Diego. It's nice to meet everybody.
Well, and we got in touch through George, right?
Yeah, George Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an amazing dude.
No, he's awesome. And but so we did speak briefly on the phone and I think I had again probably misinterpreted it. I was like, yeah, we'll talk about psychedelics and trauma. And you corrected me. You said it's less about that. And I think you said something along the lines of like working through it and finding either the purpose in it or for lack of a better word, if you are a business and something happened, you go, let's find the profitability in this. How do we do this? Like when chicken companies, they use all the extra shit. They'll dehydrate it and powder it and sell it as dog food. It's like, let's pivot. Let's try to find out from here. And I feel like that's what you were kind of getting at when we spoke on the phone was to number one is obviously to survive trauma. It's to get better. And I'm speaking from my own experience losing a brother to suicide. It's to survive it. And then it's to honestly kind of get back into the world, get a job. For me, it was to get sober, to stop band-aiding it. And then way later, coming up on 11 years, meaningfully don't just survive, not to sound like a shitty motivational speaker, but thrive. Like, how do you jump from there and be like, I've accepted it. I've stopped blaming myself. I've stopped, intoxicating myself with alcohol or benzos or weed or whatever. For me personally, how do I then go, how do I get something out of this? How do I, and me and my brothers all have, and I think that's maybe like the thing I'm most proud of is that my brother's death wasn't in vain. Even if it's just because I do episodes where I talk about mental health and I've had people reach out to me and be like, "Hey, I never would have sought help, but you opened up about your brother." And, so I feel like that's kind of what you're getting to on the phone, but I also don't want to put words. What if you were just like, absolutely the fuck not, that's not what I'm talking about. You're like, all right, man. All right, fuck me.
Thought we were talking about roller coasters.
Yeah,
No
you're
big
like,
deal.
hey, dude, no, I am a streamer. I do roller coaster tycoon. That would be funny as fuck if you were like, "Hey, that's really touching, and I'm sorry about your brother." What are you talking about? I I sell cotton candy and cotton candy accessories. Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wrong Diego, bro.
yeah, yeah. Wrong, wrong. Turns out you're another guy. The real Diego's dead at your feet.
Yeah.
You're like, "How you doing, man? I'm Diego now. I'm wearing his skin." Um,
Perfect.
yeah.
It's actually right.
It fits just right. I like a good skin suit. But go into that if you not the skin suit, the pivoting and
Well, the skin suit is unbelievably fundamental in coming to understand exactly what you were
all right.
talking about. but way down the line, it doesn't seem so apparent. Um, and it's so deep, we may not even get to it. And we might also, um, but there's two types of suffering that I'm aware of: physical suffering and mental suffering. And as somebody who has experienced daily pain for the last 20 years, I can tell you by far and away the most the most suffering I've ever experienced over the course of my life for sure is through my mind. And that's that is a difficult thing. You also said a big, huge, giant word a couple of minutes ago, and you said acceptance. It's enormous. And part of this whole, there are many components that contribute to this whole idea of mental suffering. And believe it or not, one of the major contributors to human suffering is our understanding of our limited language for what it is. Our language was created with the thinking mind. Of course, the thinking mind has an immense, tremendous, incredible value. It's the most amazing tool that I could possibly imagine to navigate this three-dimensional world, but no further. As far as quantum physics can understand, there are anywhere from 8 to 30 more dimensions that are going on all around us all the time. You don't need to go to wormholes. You don't need to go to teleport to, you need to go through black holes and there, everything is happening here. Everything. So what that means is that there's 8 to 30 other dimensions that's happening all around us that our thinking mind is incapable of processing. It can imagine, like, for example, there are people who believe that the fourth dimension is time and that all of time is happening. Time and space is happening all at once. And our thinking mind can go, okay, all of time is happening, but we don't truly understand what that is because we can't truly experience what that is. We can fathom it, right? For example. And so because there are extra dimensional things happening around us all the time, and our language is created with the thinking mind, we just label things because what else are we going to do? Acceptance doesn't only happen in the 3D. There are layers and layers and layers and layers of us, contributions that our forefathers and foremothers have given to us that lie in these parts within us. How can you accept something that hasn't even happened in your lifetime yet is still contributing to the recipe that is you? It's hard.
Yeah.
Acceptance goes deep. But yeah, I know I've been talking for a while, but
No, 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 no. No, it's great. I, I like it. I think that kind of just struck a chord with me is, yeah, the rational mind, the thinking mind, the creation of the whole Terrence McKenna thing about,
mhm,
telepathy does exist. I think something and then I encrypt it through my tongue and vocal cords and I shoot it at you and then you decrypt it but that's
mhm.
when we start talking about fifth dimension, sixth dimensions, fourth dimension's like the first one we can kind of understand. We get the three. The fourth one, you can go, I don't feel it in my bones that it's all happening right now, but I kind of I can accept it in the sense that like right now you and I are talking, and we are not at the beginning of this podcast anymore, even though the it was just there, it's just right around the corner, but that's gone now forever, and so is yesterday, and now we're still talking, but the beginning of the sentence is now gone forever, where I just started bringing this up 10 seconds ago. In that sense, for me at least, I can grasp that like all of time is happening. I'm like, yeah, it seems distant and then it's here and then it's over. Okay, I don't feel it in my bones like gravity, but I could go, yeah, no, okay, sure. If quantum physics says all okay. When you step one step further, it's like you have full understanding of one, two, and three. Four, you're like, I'm 50% there. I'm getting like a C on the test. Fifth and forward seems to be you have to just go, I know that I don't know. And if that exists, not just with physics all around us, it's ego. And this is where I'm getting at. This is where I'm complimenting you is I had never thought of it in terms of like our own emotions and our own trauma. Like it could be that there was some boomerang that your great great grandfather, some emotional boomerang he threw, and maybe he wasn't even a bad guy. He just didn't know how to handle like the potato famine in Ireland 200 years ago. And for all you know, some traumatic boomerang is coming back from like the eighth dimension from some like
Mm-hmm.
plane designated by a
Mm-hmm.
character, not even a Greek character, some alien character, and it just cracks you in the back of the head.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be like, and then somebody's like, you need to accept that. You're like, dog, I don't fucking know how to accept that. But the meta theme there kind of is the whole, you have to just know that you don't know, which is not, that's not satiating to the rational mind. Sorry, I know I was just rambling.
Not at all. Well, there's two things. One is the knowing, which we can talk about. But the other one is we were talking before about, that it's gone forever. What it actually means is that it's always happening.
Yeah,
The beginning of the podcast is always it's happening right now, and
forever.
right now, and right now, and right now, and it always has been. Your and my perception is following some kind of illusory timeline,
We just drove
but
past it on the bus. It's woo,
it's happening right now.
but it was
You're
always
being
there.
born right now,
Yeah.
and what exists can't ever unexist.
Woo.
There is no ending and this is why even in the fourth dimension we have to just come to some, okay, I mean, if they say so, because well, and then, but here's the beauty, and we're going forward in the whole progression of the conversation. But the beauty in elevated states of consciousness is you can start to experience these things, and where it can come into your awareness of, oh, everything is happening all at once. But you
Yes.
cannot do that with the thinking mind. It's not capable. It doesn't understand the combination. It doesn't have the right glasses. It doesn't have all the right processing tools. So you can know as far as knowing is possible, and we'll get into that in a second, at least the sensation that all of time is happening. And you can also know of full, unconditional, and total acceptance of the self and love. You can know this, you can experience this, but not with the thinking mind. You can't figure it out. Um, so you were talking about knowing, and I was talking about language before, in that we have no choice with the thinking mind other than to just slap these words and these labels onto certain things so that we can navigate through this three-dimensional existence of ours. It's not like it doesn't matter. It totally matters, but
It
it's
helps.
important. It
Yeah.
helps, but it's important to also know, to understand that just because we label this doesn't mean that it is so. And one of the things is knowing. And the reason why knowing is important, or at least understanding our concept of knowing is important as it relates to suffering, is in our culture, typically speaking, we're taught that knowledge is power. If you don't know, then you're weak. If you're weak, what value do you have to the tribe? And if you have no value to the tribe, you'll be exiled.
You're a drain
And
on resources.
that is one of the fundamental key components of human needs, is belonging. When you go to subconscious levels, if I don't know, then I die. That's what that is for most people, especially in our culture.
Mm.
And that's why you have people arguing to the death about things where there might be a little tick or a little trigger within themselves, like, oh crap, I'm arguing about something I don't fully understand. And they turn on the gas, like they go even
Yeah.
farther because they're fighting on a subconscious level for their life.
Whoa.
That's why it's so hard for people to say, oh, you're right. I don't know. It's not impossible. If people do it all over the world all the time. Some people do it in a toxic, unhealthy way against themselves or against the other person they project or whatever. And some people know how to do it in a very healthy way. Is exactly what you're talking about is I I can't know this. I may have perceived that, but there is so much that's happening in this life around me that is going through the filter of my bias, my prejudice, my presumptions, my misinformation, my fear, my all of these things that literally change reality. It's a thing. It's a reason why eyewitness testimony is among the least reliable
Hmm.
forms of evidence in a court of law. And you can show these people video and it'll be different than what they remember. And they're like, that's not, that's some other, that's no, I swear to God, this is what happened. They're not lying, or maybe some of them are for obvious reasons, but they may also not be. They could absolutely, clearly, 100% remember a blonde haired lady with a purple sweater walking east to west, and it was a kid on a bicycle. It's just as it is. So, also in line with the whole idea of suffering, when when people, if they can ever come to this place of maybe I don't know what I think I know, and it has nothing to do with my value as a human, and I switched to this whole idea of curiosity, trading and knowing for curiosity. Well, maybe they're not, their life isn't on the hook. Their quality, their value as a human being is irrelevant to the conversation. And also, what the idea of knowing does is it locks you in. Once you know, there's no further need to learn. And with curiosity, there's always potential. There's always expansion. There's always room for growth. In other words, a big myth is that knowledge is strength, and it's the opposite because it's fear most of the time. Like I know the alphabet, right? And I know that we call these like headphones, and I can think I can hear you better or whatever it is through there. We know those things, but these other things that are happening in extra dimensional spaces all around us all the time, we cannot know that. And so it's fear, this whole idea, which is weakness, which is no judgment, by the way. No judgment. I totally get it. I'm
Yeah.
totally with you. But it is a much powerful place, more powerful place to be, maybe, because then you continue to learn, you continue to expand, and you continue to strengthen. I mean, what can be stronger than that?
If you ever like everyone's moved to like I moved around a lot as a kid, but like your
Hmm.
first day at like a middle school or high school or college or the new job or you move into a new apartment or like most recently I'm just thinking about I moved up to New England to be closer to family. And you have that sort of like beginning stage of like, all right, where's my part? It's down this hall, it's on this floor. Then you're looking out and you're like, there it is, okay. And then when you're first getting settled, you're like, where the fuck is the Walmart? And you're using like Google Maps. And it's 2 miles
Hmm.
away, but it's fog of war. You have no idea where anything. You're like, where's the post office? And then
Hmm.
obviously as time goes on, you just you know it all. You don't need a direction, you need nothing. You can just you know it all. One thing I've always found fascinating, though, isn't necessarily the figuring it all out. In the same way that I know this apartment like the back of my hand. I've always just been, I don't know what it's a curiosity of I like looking back at those memories while being in this current spot. And I like to think about my first time coming in this apartment or my first time walking onto campus at the University of Georgia after I went there and then I, go there for several years. And there's just something so interesting about how my memory of the exact same spot, I've been in this apartment for less than a year. My memory of like first walking through that door and seeing that in my memory, I'm like, the walls are still there. Like it's the same floor. but goddamn, that was a different apartment in my head when I look back at it. And that's how I know memory is flawed because I
Hmm.
look back at it and that feels alien. I go, that was so weird. And I'm like, it's the same spot though. This is like the same corner where there used to be a table. What are you talking about? This is where you live now. But my memory of walking in there, like the memory of the first time you ever talked to someone, and then years later they're your best friend. I'm like, I remember when I first met you. Yeah, I thought you were a fucking douchebag. Like that memory is still there. And I'm saying this to say the knowing of trauma or acceptance, and then what you said about kind of going into the higher states, like only in like for me, it was either psychedelics and or deep meditation that it was no longer theoretical. Like in deep meditation, I remember in like college, sober as a bird, like picture perfect, like seeing my grandpa as a young man. And like truly going, all time is happening right now. And it was no longer just a theoretical. I went, oh, that's real. It's as real as gravity. Like,
Hmm.
so, but what's fascinating is right now in this life, it's our, it's, 80, 100 years long, but this is our first moment in some new apartment that is Earth. And one day we're going to look back on this and be like, oh, that was so scary. Like, no, now I have it all figured out. I know where the Walmart. I don't need a, like, now when I drive to Walmart, I'm like, I feel so fucking stupid for needing Google Maps to go 2 miles. But like, I look back at it, I'm like, yeah, well, I didn't know. That's got to be what it's like, either in a higher dimension in this life or something beyond the event horizon of death, to where you'll look back and be like, oh, yeah, remember how scared you were about growing up and dying and what's going on and the uncertainty of life. We might look back at that with the same sort of a shrug that I look back at not knowing where Walmart was. I don't berate the younger me. I just go, yeah. I mean, what did I say? I went, yeah, well, you didn't know, so of course you needed maps. That's what it's got to be like on the like other side. I don't know if any of that made any sense.
Yeah, for sure. But it's so subtle though, the conflict, because there was still the thinking. It was so stupid. But even the word it was changed to another word, which I won't say. It's there's a logical awareness that you have that there's nothing wrong with it, and there's still part. That's how subtle it can be, and there's
Yeah.
still part that's like,
You
mm-mm.
stupid idiot. You didn't know where it was. And it's like,
Yeah,
no,
and you
there's
don't have to
nothing.
say that ever again if you don't want to,
Yeah.
because the brain's a supercomputer, by the way, is taking notes, and it doesn't understand
No,
jokes.
and I'm trying to get better at that. I've had other people on the show tell me like, "Hey, don't even jokingly talk down to yourself because your brain thinks it's real."
It doesn't understand. And Simon Sinek has that really cool thing where he's like downhill skiers, when they go off piste and they go into the trees, they're not thinking don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree because all they're thinking is trees. What they say instead is follow the path, follow the path, follow the path.
Yeah.
So the brain doesn't understand negatives and it doesn't understand jokes and it's always taking notes. And in the universe, as far as I can tell, there doesn't seem to be any negative or positive anything. It's only the mind that attaches positive and negativity to anything. So, for example, if an asteroid came and obliterated the planet Earth, the universe wouldn't be like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" Whoa.
It
It wouldn't do that. It would
wouldn't
just
even
be
do
moving,
nothing.
and things in space would still be rotating, and nothing would stop, and everything would continue moving on, and everything literally is perfect. So our brains are the only ones our thinking minds are the only ones
Oh,
that assigns negative and positive. And so why this matters to human beings is the brain's not going to stop you from like, mm-mm, don't be careful, don't do that because that's not good for you. It's going to be, oh, okay, we are this, we are this. This is what we do. This is what we don't do. And the brain is as efficient as everything we wish the government would be, for example. And so it's constantly shedding things that it doesn't need and investing time and energy and space into things that are needed. And what it knows that is needed is where your focus is. The things that you continually refer to, revisit, spend your time on, all that stuff, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be the cotton candy that you're talking about. And the cotton candy is the most important thing in the world. It doesn't care. It doesn't do anything. So if those statements are constantly made, it's just neutrally being, yep, this is important. Yep, this is important. Yep, this is important. And all that is, I'm going to slow down for a second. All that is energy. And energy attracts light energy, like energy. So if you're very simply blue light from everywhere is going to find you. It's just, it just matches. So that's a bad example, but I'm just being very simple about
No, no,
this.
it's good.
So when the energetic resonance within your thought process and within your focus is this thing, whatever it is, all of that stuff is going to find you, all no matter what it is. And so in this way, this is why this is important, especially with people who are struggling with mental health. When they come to understand, and this is not a big deal for some and very brutal to other people, when you come to understand that you literally create the reality that's around you because of what you choose to focus on, everything can change if you choose for it to. That can seem unimaginable to
Hmm.
people who have been through unimaginable traumas, but the law is no less true. It just is. And so, and it's not easy because there's a lot of inertia involved. So if time and energy is spent in this way,
Hmm.
all that is like you're building these really robust pathways that are strong and infrastructured and really clear. And if that thing, for example, is I am this, that's going to be huge and it's going to be very, very easy. And then if you want to all of a sudden say, you know, we've been saying this for years and we're not going to say it anymore. We're going to now say something completely opposite in this. It's now you have to stop that inertia. All of this is possible.
Yeah.
You have to stop that inertia and start to chip away at a little tiny little creek bed off to the side to
Yeah.
get you going off into a different direction. And the more you do it, the wider it gets, the
The
wider it
easier it
gets.
gets, and it's like a new habit, neuroplasticity. The second day of going to the gym is easier than the first, and gets better and better and better.
And the last thing I'll say about that that is really, really important is that there's something that's called neural pruning. And this is part of what I mean about how efficient the mind is. Once something is no longer needed, the brain, the thinking brain is always trying to do everything it can to be as efficient as possible. So we don't need all these extra roads that we don't need anymore.
Hmm.
So if that negative thought isn't revisited anymore, it says, hey, we got to keep up to date with this thing. So it just cuts it out
Just
and
Kobe
it,
just
it
eats it.
atrophies. It atrophies. And then this is now your state of being. Hmm. Yeah, I could talk about that for a little bit for sure.
No, no, it's and then there almost is. It's like an entrenched bureaucracy almost. Like part of your mind of you, it's not just inertia. It's also like I already have this whole thing built. I already have this whole neural structure. I built a house on it. I know it's not perfect, but it's already here. And so
Yeah.
regardless is the first step is going, maybe it's not even right. Okay, fine. But even once you accept that it's not right, you go, I know the house isn't on a good foundation, but the door's shut and the kitchen, the lights come on. I don't care. And there's
Yeah.
that, and which I don't think there's an inherent good or bad. That's your decision. You can go,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too happy at this job, but you know what, man, pays the bills, whatever. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. But you can start slowly shifting in a new direction, and it's incredibly difficult at first. But if you do just start moving, yeah, the other thing are also like the inertia is there at first, but then that starts coming down. That starts slowly going away. And then you realize you're like, oh, it's not that you have to maintain two separate things. You can just leave one and go. I don't have to worry about my last apartment. I'm not like, shit, is that place clean? Like, no, it's gone. There is, but I was just, and not to complete 180, but what you're saying about like there is no inherent good or bad. It's just how we view it. It always makes me think of. like Google Earth or something, if you just zoom all the way out and then it's
Mhm.
just the planet and then you can kind of like circle the planet. It sounds so silly, but I remember doing that in like college and it dawned on me that like there's no such thing as days. Like when you zoom out and it's just you're like that's just the sun hitting one side of the rock. But there's no like and now it's midnight and it changes. It's just slowly moving the whole time. You go, it's always been sunny. The sun has never gone
Always.
away. It's
Hmm.
just we have cloudy days. We have rotations. We have a sunrise and a sunset. It's literally always been, it's like the music is always on the radio. Just because you
Hmm.
turned it on doesn't mean it came out of it. You're like, no, 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 you
Hmm.
just tuned into it. I think about that in terms of how some things are omnipresent, like the acceptance of losing your brother. That acceptance was always there. Could have always just had it. Subjectively, for whatever reason, I chose to take 10 years. And I don't know if I chose that before this life. I don't know if I chose it as like a learning process so that I could help others learn it. I don't know, but it's always present. Really, no, it's just a comment on that.
Yeah, the reason why it's always present is because of all time is happening all at once, which means that there is a version of you that has actually come to accept that it's just a matter of what version of you are you tapping into. You were mentioning about this slow shift, which you can do. In fact, it's especially with people who are really embedded in the three-dimensional space, and I am as well in some parts where it's and there's also the version of you that exists that has already transcended what it is that you're trying to transcend. It
Oh,
already exists. You are under no obligation to be who you were 5 minutes ago because you're not anyway. So if somebody is a drinker, it's like, oh, I'm at a bar. This is what I do. This is my office, bro.
yeah,
Like that's what line them up, Sally,
yeah.
or whatever. And hey, this is just what I do. Like you don't have to do that anymore. Like you literally do not have to do that ever again. It doesn't have to be. It can be because it's easier as we're navigating this three-dimensional space, but it doesn't have to be. You can, in an instant, the more and more and more you understand, and I have ways to go here too, but the more you understand this, it's like I don't have to do a single thing that I always have. I don't have to have anything in my life that I choose not to have. You can let, and I have done a lot of this. I've let a lot of things go, which would be very, very difficult for most people in our culture because it's like, well, how could you do that? I mean, you got all this stuff and all this. It's just gone from me. I just let it go, like deeply, deeply, deeply letting go because I'm, I am whoever I want to be. That's what's difficult is it because people have it in their, no, man, I mean, if I'm going to be this bodybuilder or whatever, it's going to take this and that, whatever. And it does, but it's embodying the energy of what that is. It's just embodying the energy of it. So if you choose to no longer have this self-destructive behavior, the only thing that's keeping you in that place is the illusion that that's who you are. It's the illusion that you've got to do all this stuff to undo, which is totally normal because it is the three-dimensional world that we live in. But when you get into extra dimensional, it's like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to smoke anymore. I don't.
You can stop mid beer.
You,
You can literally just
yes,
drop the ball. You probably shouldn't because it's gonna break, but like,
fuck it, do it. If that's what it takes for you to stop fucking drinking, throw that fucking bottle
throw it at Stacy.
through the wall and say, fuck you.
No, it makes me think of like diets. I always
You
tell
don't have to
people,
behave.
no, I always tell people like that. as someone that I've been lifting weights for 20 plus years, or I'm like, don't do, you want a New Year's resolution? Start today. What's today? Second, third, start April 3rd. Like, well, that's not, no, no, start today. Because that's like the real resolution. You go, oh, just right now. There doesn't have to be some new
There
year,
is
new
only
me.
now.
No, no, fuck that. New now, new me. Just go forward. Just drop. And I've done that with like different facets of the podcast or different things I've done to where I just dawned on me. I'm like, wait, why do I? And it really comes into clarity for me in weird ways because I'm the boss. It's just me. There's
Hmm.
no like board of directors. There's no focus groups. So every once in a while I'll be like, I'm not doing this anymore. And there's no like, well, I got to clear it with. I'm like, nah. And then
Yeah.
I don't even have to confirm with anyone that that's done. And I've gotten quicker and quicker and quicker at it over five. It used to be something that maybe took a year.
Hmm.
Now it's like under 2, 3 minutes. I'll be like, that thing's kind of a bitch, and I don't really understand why I keep doing it. All right, and then just gone. You just drop the bottle and just I'm gone. And it's always available, but you can, if you want, take a very slow route to it. And there's no that's not good or bad either. I don't even mean to say it in a demeaning way, like, well, if you're a rookie, you can no 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 no.
No.
Take it slow. There is not good or bad. Take it slow. Take it the slowest it's ever been taken ever. Take it the fastest it's ever been. As Ram Dass would always say, but you have eternity. Don't rush it. You have eternity. Don't rush the experience. I think I think that's something you put very well. Like you can go very slowly if you want. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Hmm. Yeah, damn, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I see it. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's I like what you said about there's also the you that has transcended.
Hmm.
I think if like 5 years ago, some things are very clear because it's like you want it. I think 5 years after my brother died, if somebody had said 5 years from now you will transcend this, I'd be like, fuck yeah, thank God.
Hmm.
But then there are other things where for me it's like the podcast doing well. Like right now, it does better than it's ever done before. Every year it does better. Paying the rent, it's blah blah blah. The views are going up. But there is still part of me that's like it can't get huge yet. Even though it's what I want more than anything. I've never
Hmm.
poured. I got into medical school. I know what long term goals look
Grinds.
like.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to haul out your soul alone in a dorm room. I'm very aware. But there is almost part of me that I don't even know if it's like, is the future me reaching back in time and savoring this? It's like don't rush the meal, enjoy every course. But there is a part of me that I guess because it's like the primary bases have been taking it does pay rent, it's like floating. But there's another part of me that as much as I want it to succeed more than anything, I just want to have even bigger guests and have even cooler conversations and help more people. There is a part of me that it almost feels like I'm not letting it happen.
Yeah,
And I know that
there
sounds
is.
out there, but I'm just like it's like no 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 like because I've had enough people to be like, man, your shows are great. I love your shows. But there's a part of me that's just like, yeah, I'm not allowed to open the present yet. And I have no idea why.
Yeah, it's a thinking mind.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I can't, and you can't think your way out of a problem that the thinking mind got
Can't
you.
figure it out.
It really is just,
What you can do, if you choose to, is to acknowledge and understand that those thoughts exist because all of that is energy. And what you resist persists. So it's like, I shouldn't be thinking that. I shouldn't be thinking that.
don't hit the
I
tree,
shouldn't be
don't hit
thinking
the
it. I
tree, don't
shouldn't be
hit the
thinking that.
tree.
It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That only comes through that big, huge, giant word that you used in the beginning called acceptance. Oh, there is part, because it is part. There is part of me. There's a something within me that is holding on to that doesn't believe that this is possible. And the moment you go, bad boy, or you're not supposed to do that, or you need to behave, or you need to listen up, or ooh, tell me more because you're speaking truth. All of this stuff, it just affirms it.
Mm.
And this is very, very counterintuitive to our culture because it's surrendering. And if you surrender, you
Surrender
die.
your die.
And nothing, maybe in a way, it's totally true because when you surrender, the part of you that dies is the one that's holding you back. But it doesn't die in a violent way. It's whatever is holding you back is holding you back for some kind of fear response mechanism. It doesn't want you to get hurt. It doesn't want you to overextend. It doesn't want you to do something that could potentially put your rent at risk and all this stuff. So it's just like, let's just stay here, dude. Everything is good. And of course, low hanging fruit. It's like, of course, everything is fine. I'm not going to mess this up. And you just stay small, stay small, stay small. And what the bigger part of you knows is that there is no such thing as a small you. I mean, you're an extension of God. You are all that is and everything that will be and everything that ever has been. You're all of it. You can't be, you can trick yourself into the illusion that you're small, but it's impossible for you to be small. And that's where I think a lot of people suffer not only in like life trauma, but just, well, this is what I do for work. This is kind of what we got to do. I mean, this pays the rent and you can feel it. You can feel this resistance to expansion. And so, again, counterintuitively, for that to leave, it has to be fully accepted. It has to be listened to. And there's a difference. This is huge. There is a difference between listening and believing.
Mm-hmm.
You can allow this one within you that says, not we're not ready to open up the present. We're not ready to open up the present. You can listen to that like a parent in a grocery store with a kid in the cereal aisle. I want whatever Lucky Charms. Like,
Pat him on the head.
and you're loving it. It's not this shitty kid because he likes shitty cereal. It's nothing to do with that. I hear you, and we are not. We are this, and I love you. But tell me more. Tell me all the things that you want to know about Lucky Charms. What's your favorite part? This and that, whatever.
Yeah.
And now this is the part that doesn't necessarily make sense to a lot of folks. But a lot of that is just energy that needs to be heard. A lot of that is energy that needs to be allowed. A lot of that is energy that just needs to move.
Yeah.
And when it's saying now's not time to open up the present, it's being held in place and it's not moving. But if you go, you can imagine, and I'm not going to tell you what is happening, but you can imagine like it's little Tommy who is 5 years old and deathly afraid of being alone. And because he may actually, and this is a real thing if you choose to believe it, he may be under the impression that he's at the helm of this 30, 40 plus year old dude and he's got to pay the bills and he's in little time he's got to do all this and he doesn't. He doesn't even know that you exist. And so when you experience little Tommy having these thoughts of you got to remain small, you can't open the presence, you have the ability to love little Tommy like few things have ever been loved in our culture before. And you can bring him on your lap and tell me all about it. Tell me all about it. What are we not ready for? We're not ready for presents. We're not ready for this. Okay. Tell me more about that. Well, if it, yeah, and just hold him and rub his chest and kiss him and say, dude, no matter what, I love you. I love you. And I'm here for you. Keep telling me more. Tell me all the stuff. All keep going. And you do this as long as it takes, for as long as it takes. And you will notice that the thoughts and the energy, this whole idea that it's not time to open up the present will just be gone because little Tommy isn't afraid anymore. Because he now is coming to understand that it's not his responsibility to pay the bills, that it's not his responsibility to do all the things. It's little Tommy's job to go play. That's it. All of time is happening all at once. Tommy gets to go play right now. He does anywhere he wants to. But he's always safe. He doesn't know that he's always safe.
That was beautiful, man. That was that was absolutely beautiful. It makes me think of just to hear it out. It's like a lot like OCD. I have OCD and not in like the quirky. I mean like legitimate clinical OCD. Like did therapy for a year was when I went and did therapy, I felt like I was at the least OCD part of my life, and I did it like an entrance exam, and they're like, "This is you're like the most OCD person I've ever seen in my career," and they're like, "If you were like 1 point higher on the exam, you actually hit the threshold for hospitalization." And I was like,
Mm.
"Really?" Because right now I feel like I'm the least OCD I've ever been in my life. They're like, you've been walking around with like hospital grade OCD, like yeah, and whatever that means, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and but for me, I'm like, yeah, well, it got me
Mm.
into medical school, so like, whatever. My point
Right.
and
Yep.
subjectively, yeah, and subjective, well, yeah. So I go, how can it be bad? And then also, I didn't know I was OCD. That's the other thing is I didn't know I was OCD because to me, I was like, yeah, I'm a hard worker, and I still am OCD. I gotta be honest. I kind of like it. It's a really fun car. It's really powerful. It's like it's a great drug. But
You may not even be OCD.
yeah, probably I'm probably not. It's all dog shit anyway. None of it's real. But like when I do look at it, one thing that there is value in it was the OCD therapy in that it was, and I really think it's it's fascinating in that it's the entire thing is the exposure therapy that you sit with it. What are
Uh-huh.
the whatever it is, I have to touch the doorknob or my mom dies. I didn't have that. I had more of just like the organizational, but there's like different whatever. And it's but the one thing that really helped me, and to somebody who's not OCD, like the therapy seems silly, but at least you just sit with it. And the thing is you can never appease it into going away. And my entire
Mm.
life, I'd always just thought I was like,
Maybe.
if I go at it more, it will go away. And so even now, I allow a certain level of OCD because to me, again, it's probably not even. It's just called a work ethic. It's like, yeah, you're an Irish Catholic. You work hard. What do you expect? My point is the
Mm.
value in it is when it does still like flare up. It's like Christmas Day, and part of me is like, I gotta clean the apartment. I gotta do dishes. In past years, that's something I would do, or I would just like I clean on Sundays. Versus now, I can feel it arising, and it's like I gotta make my bed. I gotta do my laundry. I gotta dust off yeah, I gotta clear out. I gotta transfer all the podcasts to another hard drive. I gotta. And what I have learned is like some things you do need to take. Like, you gotta pay the bill. You do have to do that. That's an issue. But when I feel the OCD flare up, or no, I've got to clean the car right now, and I can't go into the grocery store. I know that. Whereas in the past, I would do a little bit, and it would go away for a little bit, but then it would come back hard. Like, oh, you've cleaned all the stuff off the countertop. Well, have you scrubbed it now? What about the dust? And it just kept going. It's you need another drink, another drink, another drink. Versus now, I let it be there, and I've even just like I'll go one step further and I'll be like, why do you have to do this? I'll be like, I have to clean because it's just what I do, and I like when it's clean, and when it's clean, I can think clearly, and I'll just kind of let it sit there. And like a big thing I've started doing really like the last 6 weeks is on Saturdays and Sundays I won't make my bed, and it's a huge challenge for me, but I'll let it out, and I'll be like, well, why do you want to make it? And what I've learned even in just the past month is. And it's what you touched on earlier. I go, I don't even know why I want to make it. And I'll be like, cool. You just want it made? I just want it made. Yeah, that's interesting. We're not going to do that, but let's go upstairs. And I'll be like, "Ah, I need to answer all my emails. Well, why do you want to do it? Well, because I got, okay, no, that's, no, wow. No, it makes sense. Yeah, no, you would want to read those, right? No, I get that. We're not doing that today. You can do it during the week when you work, but we're not doing that today. And it's been so therapeutic to just not give into it, but like you said, hear it. You don't have to listen to it, but just have what's going on, man. Why I gotta. Like I gotta clean all the dishes because I gotta clean the keyboard for the computer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's no, I know. I see that. I see that. We're not gonna do that, but and what I haven't got to, but it's what you brought up, and I think I will try to now is not just hear it, but also be like, I love that about you, man. That you just want to clean. We're not gonna do that right now, but I do love that. That's pretty cool that your baseline is you want to better your apartment. You want to take care of your things. That's a good trait to have. But you got to do that right now, man. It's the weekend. It's time for you to put your feet up because you've got 10 episodes that you got to do this week. It's going to be a hectic Monday through Friday. And I'm finding more and more, and it's taken almost 34 years to get to this point of hearing my own OCDs, anxieties, and then not just hearing them, but also going, I love that about you. I really do love that. It's actually in my daily to-do list. I started a couple months ago. Name something you love about yourself. And I'll be like, I love that you legitimately want to make sure all the dishes are clean. That's a cool thing about you. And I feel like when I do say it, it almost is like 5-year-old Tommy being like, okay. And now he wants to go play with Legos. I'll do the podcast. You don't have to do that for another 30 years. And it's everything you were just saying. I just feel like that just all clicked. Like hear it and love him for it. And just, okay. Yeah, cool. Tell me about the Lucky Charms. So yeah.
I'm about to unclick
Yeah.
what you just clicked.
No, you're good.
Love is unconditional. True love, which is all there is. What we as human beings and thinking minds put conditions on it because we don't know any better. But it doesn't mean that love doesn't already exist in its purest form. It's a subtle thing. It's so subtle. We just witnessed how subtle it is. If you say, I love that about you. I love that you want to clean the room. Believe me, God in heaven, this 5-year-old is going to triple, quadruple, 10 times down. Oh, I'm a good boy if I clean. And he's every moment you got your back turned, he's going to want to clean because he wants to be a good boy now. It's not even now a fear response in the sense
Mm,
of self-protection. Now it's this acceptance of okay, the additive that I have to this tribe is making my bed.
mm,
And so every time the bed's got to be made, I'm here. You still love me, right? And this is the thing that so many children, probably every child who has ever lived has almost every child who has ever lived has had to go through with their parents. Oh, get good grades. Oh, I'm a good boy. I'm a good girl. You get bad grades. I'm a bad. It's just love. It's just acceptance. I don't give a fuck if you want to make the bed or you don't want to make the bed. I don't give a fuck if you want to eat Lucky Charms or you want to eat salt crackers. I don't give a shit. I fucking accept you and I love you. I don't care. And it isn't, we are deeply listening. Imagine as you as a 5-year-old boy and every time you talk to your daddy wasn't really listening to you, he was just letting you fucking run your mouth. There's no connection. You're dismissive. And there's a wall in between the love that you two could share. It is absolutely, tell me all about it. You just don't have to believe it, is the difference.
mm.
Hey, Dad, guess what I did? I literally got on my bike and I fought a dragon. Oh, no way. What happened, dude? And he just goes into this story about how he climbed the mountain and he's got a stick sword and he's doing a, oh, no. And then what happened? And you can add to it. And the whole time, this didn't happen, but tell me more.
Yeah.
And then when he's done telling the story how he slayed the dragons, like, dude, you want to go out and get a pizza or something for you slaying the dragon? Like, yeah, let's go. You know he didn't kill it. It's validating. So this kid has nothing to run from. He doesn't have anything to do to impress you.
Mm.
And this is another thing about the whole idea of I've spent a lot of time around mental health clinicians and almost not quite, but almost to a person, their their hearts, their minds, everything is in this for good. Almost all of them.
Hmm.
And what happens when you go to school is you're taught all of these things so that we can diagnose, so that we can approach. And the thing is, all the things that make you you have never been before. And me labeling you with OCD and you saying, I have OCD. Why I do this because I have OCD. One, it may not even be true. And you'll know this because I've been in many, many mental health classes where I'll be in a room full of psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers, and they all come up with different diagnoses for the same patient.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's no shame. It is no shame. Everyone is doing the best they can, but there's no label needed. Your approach to the things that you are going through are going to be your own, and no one can tell you what that is. This is also hard because in our thing, I'm not a psychologist. I don't know what to do with this. It's like you're correct. Your thinking mind has no clue what to do. But the you, that is really, really you, knows exactly what it needs. And the more psychotropic medicines that you take to fog the mind and stunt and retard growth and all this stuff, the more and more disconnected and fogged you're going to be. Generally speaking, there are people who cannot function without these medicines, and I get it,
sure.
but not everybody, and not the majority, and certainly not to the amount of people that are actually being prescribed these medicines. That's absolutely not the case. And I 100 I can say that that is in my experience where there are most of the people that I coach and interact with, they don't need these medicines. In
Mm.
fact, it's keeping them from a, attaining the place that they can actually experience. Everyone's doing the best they can, and there's more that we can do, and the more that we can do is less because the knowing is within. And the more we learn to connect with this you, that is really you, as a let's say that that is now our cultural understanding. Everything's going to change in this whole mental health mess that we have in the world here. It's not just Americans, but you don't need medicine to develop this new relationship and this new way with that part of yourself. And you don't need, in fact, it probably hinders that. You can let it go. You are under no obligation to be this because you aren't anyway. It's just something that's working it. That's not who you are. Who you are never changes, and it never has changed, and it never will change. Where you are changes from moment to moment. How you are changes from moment to moment. So you do not have OCD. There's a part within you that is responding to certain things, which could be characterized by some as OCD tendencies, but you don't have OCD. And taking that ownership of something that doesn't even belong to you, that becomes the narrative and that becomes a story and that becomes the thing where now you're doing something different than listening. You are now believing.
Mm.
And that train will take you the fuck as far as you want and even farther. And there will be all the scenery and all the activities and all the things to do. We're like, yep, 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 yep. It'll go. There is no end. There is no end. And all you have to do, literally, and this is not easy, but literally, all you have to do is stick your foot through the wall of the train and just stand on the ground and let the train go by.
Hmm.
You're not going to get hurt. You will not get hurt. The train's going to go by. The train could be going at 50,000 miles an hour, and all you got to do is move your foot past the wall, step on the ground, take your other foot, let that step on the ground, and the train is going to go. And all of a sudden, oh fuck, I don't have OCD. I'm just here. It's just me.
And that is, and it's so, I mean, I'll be deep in meditation and prayer, and I'll have the clarity of just dropping something with, I don't know who's, maybe it was Alan Watts or Ram Dass. He's like, when people ask you how to drop things, he goes, how easy is it to drop your luggage when you get to the hotel after you've been carrying it from the airport? Pretty easy. You go, oh, oh.
Mm,
He goes, yeah, so just drop it. And you go, but I don't know how to drop it. And so, yeah, well, that's the hard part is, but the actual thing is you just, and I'll feel that in me. I'll be like, I want to drop it. But it's like a weird dream of like my hand went open. I'm like, drop the suitcase. It's
mm,
so heavy. And I think I'm getting better slowly.
mm,
I'm the guy taking the really slow route. I'm getting, I, I'm sober almost 15 months. I was drinking not a whole lot, smoking a little pot. I was on gabapentin for anxiety, got
mm,
addicted to that. I've been sober for about 15 months, and like that was a huge step of where I used to be like, I get fucked up on Fridays. I work hard all week. I'm the OCD workman, and I value myself with the work I do. And then I go crazy on the weekends, and I do it all again. And now, when Fridays come along, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Used to have so much fun on Fridays, and I'm like, no, I still actually have a lot of fun. I play video games later with my friends on that big TV back there. I don't have a bedtime. I don't have to get up for a show. I just there's just not a bottle of vodka there. And and then I get to sleep in too. And I realize it's actually kind of funny over the last year and 3 months, I've realized just how much of like my desire to get fucked up on Friday, I was actually just tired. Because now I go, the video games were fun, but I don't even it wasn't even a whole lot more fun to play a couple extra hours. I'm like, but what was great? I'm like, it was great sleeping in and not hitting the gym one day. I'm like, I think that's all I wanted. But I thought it was vodka. I was like, no, I gotta get wasted. I'm like, no, you were just really tired. That's all it
yeah.
was. Because now I'm a year and months in, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't miss alcohol. At first, it's difficult, and you have to be like, I don't need it for fun, or I do need it, but I'm not gonna do it. Versus now, I'm like, no, I legitimately just wanted to sleep in, and I'm like, had I not taken a step to go towards, I would have been doing that to the day I died. Like, I Friday, I get drunk, and then I wake up at noon the next day. It's like you might have just wanted to wake up at noon, and so I won't. I have to then wonder what other behaviors in life am I doing because well, that's how I get XYZ. And it's like, no, you might have just needed some sleep. What else do I need? What else is there? Well, I have to work hard, or I have to do this, or I have to do this, or I have to do these interviews, or I have to. Why? How
Mm,
many of these things
mm,
are some I thought vodka was a necessary puzzle piece or beer or whatever?
mm,
No, none of you had just Pavlovianly intertwined the two. Common mistake. It's like I'm not angry at myself. I'm like, "Hey, how would you know anybody? You grew up and you went to an SEC school. Of course you got fucked up on Fridays. It's like, no, the totally understandable thing. Everyone you knew did it. But turns out you were just kind of tired. And I now look and I go, man, I am not angry at my past self at all. I'm just kind of I'm looking at my past self like a little kid. I'm like, man, I love you. You didn't need alcohol. You're just tired. Like, oh,
mm.
you're not a bad kid. You're just cranky. You're hungry. How many other things in my life am I continuing to do because I think because I've Pavlovianly intertwined them, and I don't know.
Yeah. Or even not thinking like habit. And so I don't know that this is true, but it just seems to be in my experience that there's four common elements that are at the root of all mental suffering. And one is not being connected with who you are. Two is not understanding the mind for what it is and what it isn't. And three is not being present. And four is not experiencing self love. And some of the things you were talking about habitual practice, there's a common understanding in our culture of this whole idea of karma, that if you do good, you'll get good. If you do bad, you'll get bad in return. It's almost like a punishment. Well,
Yeah.
that's karma, dude. And it's not that. We haven't come to understand what it is, which is simply the tendency for energy to follow established pathways. And if we choose to, and we don't have to choose this, we don't even have to want it, but if we choose to, we can release ourselves entirely of karma, entirely, which means you are making deliberate actions from moment to moment, fully in the present. So, like, you're not sitting in a room and all of a sudden your bed just got made. You don't know how it did it. It's like, oh shit, I just did that, but how the hell did that happen? Or you get in a car and you drive 500 miles away and you end up at your first gas station. How did I get here? It's from moment to moment. You can choose to be present. And this goes a very, very far way into the path of healing and transcending addiction, because a lot of addiction is habit, and habit is you're not even thinking about it, but the moment you are aware, the moment it's not a habit anymore, it's a conscious choice. And there can be accountability to it. It's not that it's easy. It's not, there's no shame, there's no judgment. It is now a deliberate, it's not a habit anymore. It's deliberate decision to do this. And if you choose, for example, for your experience to transcend addiction, the moment you're like your fifth sip into your 10th beer and you notice for the first time you're drinking, you can set this down and be like, I'm going to let this fucking burn.
Mm.
And it's not easy. It's hard. It's one of the hardest things to do as humans. It's hard. And when you continue to let it burn and you are you are sitting in this moment and experience this moment fully for all it is, and you're not trying to escape it through dis- disruption or not being bored. Bored is a very powerful tool
Mm.
in the art of transcendence. Allow it. It's okay that you're bored. You're not eroding your brain by any means. In fact, it's the opposite. It's way more powerful for your brain to be bored than it is to be on Instagram for 2 hours.
Hmm.
1,000,000% more powerful. Allow, 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 and it may suck and it may burn and just, yep, okay. And you can continue to ask yourself, can I take more of this?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
this the worst that I've ever experienced? Like, no, I can go
Mhm.
worse. Okay. And you're just going, okay, this burns, this burns, this burns. And you're letting it. You're not supposed to be shaking. You're not supposed to be burning. Like, well, I just am. I just am.
Yeah.
And this is okay. 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 And there's no drinking.
Mm.
That's how it's done. That's how it is.
And to also just embrace when it sucks.
Y-
Like,
Maybe.
if you want, but for me, it's like when I find when I'm trying to like work through something or break something, there's like a part of me that's like, it's like the drill sergeant to the drill sergeant. It's like, it's not enough that you're breaking this habit. It's not supposed to fucking hurt, pussy. And I'll be like, ah, shit. Versus sometimes I'll be like, no, it's okay to just sit there and like, sometimes me and my brother will like be sitting in the sauna. We're both getting 15 minutes in, and it's finally you go, I'm not getting out, but this is so hot. And he goes, dude, okay, I'm dying. And it's like, it's okay to sit there and go, the most obvious thing, this is hot. Of course it is. We're next to a fire in an enclosed room with like a humidity level of 500%. But once you kind of accept, you go, this sucks. This is hot. It does get a little, you go, yeah, yeah. And it's like, yeah, you're allowed to suffer. You don't have to go, this isn't even warm. You don't have to go, man, I feel my pulse in my fingers. Like, yeah, this is hot. This is
Mhm.
pretty hot. And it allows you to go farther as opposed to like when I'd be getting like bad anxiety when I'd try to like wean myself off gabapentin or Xanax or something. It wasn't just the anxiety. It was the anxiety about the anxiety. I'd be like, here it comes, and you're
Mhm.
gonna freak out, and you better not freak out.
Mhm.
What worse way to give somebody a bad trip? Hey, dude, don't freak out. I know
Yeah.
you took some acid. Do not freak out, dude. Dude, I'm telling you right fucking now, don't freak out. If you
Yeah.
start to see demon horns on me, oh man, you better not freak the fuck out. Like, man, what a
Yeah.
way to make somebody jump off a bridge. Like,
Yeah. You said something really important. In the beginning, you said embrace the suck. And then towards the end, you said accept. And that is being in the SEAL teams. That's one of our mantras is embrace the suck.
yeah.
And I no, because embracing the suck is fake it till you make it. It's disingenuous. It's protective mechanism. And it's again, it's
Don't embrace the suck. Say
ironic,
it
but
sucks.
it is weakness. It's fear. Somebody embrace like, fuck yeah, I'm having the greatest day of my life. That's not strength.
You only
It is
say
a
that when
type
you're
of
not.
strength. It is a type of strength, but it is indescribably more powerful to be, I am in this space where this is what I'm experiencing and everything is, I am okay. That's, or I'm not okay. I'm fucking not okay. It's way harder to say that, especially as men. Not even allowed the, we're, we're not even allowed to cry, dude. We're
Yeah.
not allowed to have these particular types of emotion. We're not allowed to, oh, no wonder our suicide and our incarceration rates and all these things are just skyrocketing because we're not even allowed to be human. And there's this, and it's not even women, it's our own men that are doing, oh, I posted this thing about, we have this storytelling session where people are just getting on stage and just getting after vulnerability. And somebody wrote in the comments, that's gay. And I just, is so funny. And it's what that person, it, one, they could tell they're probably a friend of mine. I just don't recognize their
Probably.
handle or whatever. But two, they don't understand. And I know that they don't mean actual gay. They mean it in the way that we probably would interpret it. And it's ironic because what they don't understand is it is the most powerful. Again, this is, I don't have, I have people in my family. There's no, I don't judge anybody in that way, especially by the masses. Um,
Yeah, growing up is like gay means like that's just stupid, weak, you're a bitch. Yeah,
right.
no, no, yeah, I don't.
Which has nothing to do with gayness. It's just the, again, talking about our limited language and applying things
Yeah,
to things
no,
that
it's
don't
it's
make
South
sense.
Park, you're gay.
But I understand what
Gay.
he's
Yeah,
saying, and it couldn't be farther from the truth.
no, it's the exact
Getting up
opposite.
on stage and being powerfully authentic and vulnerable about your most transformational life experience, that's anything but all the connotations that we apply in our culture to the word gay. It's nothing to do with that. It's the opposite. And the thing is that's what keeps us small. And it's like, I'm not going to be vulnerable. Are you kidding me? That's totally weak. I'm like, are you sure? Is it easier to say, I'm good? Or is it easier to say, I need help?
Yeah, no, and I know that because I'll do episodes all the time. SEALs, SF guys, Ranger, Mike Durant, the Black Hawk Down pilot, Delta Force guys, like
Mhm.
CIA ground branch guys. They're all very open talking about like the most hardcore shit. I'll only ever talk to them individually on their terms. I don't care. I'll clearly talk about it on the show. They all come to you quietly and privately.
Yeah.
when telling you about, hey man, by the way, I thought that was pretty cool. You talked about suicide. I've lost three of my best friends, and it's hard for us to talk. They will openly talk about, you know,
Mm-hmm.
4 days no sleep behind, deep down range. Best friend's dead. You're doing this shit. We hope we can get an exfil. It's CIA, so it's plausible deniability, or it's Delta 4. They'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll come up to you more in hushed tones and be like, I thought that was pretty cool. You talked about the need for help. I've actually, I've been working with
Mm-hmm.
some of my butt. And I never say like, well, you should do it publicly. I'm always like, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's my favorite thing is like those guys are like, hey man, that's thanks for doing those shows. And like that's the coolest fucking thing to me is when these hardcore fucking killers are like, thank you so much for talking about the helpless feeling. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's so cool. I
Which
think it's
means it exists in everyone.
to a T. To a T. So yeah, if people are like, yeah, Tommy does a lot of shows with like cool military guys. I've had some people like he does a lot of like mental health stuff too, very feeling deep. And I never say it. Of course, I never share this, but in my mind, I want to be like the guys that you love that I have on the most hardcore motherfuckers are also the ones who you can tell their hearts are swelling up the most. Well, I physically met some of them. They just give you a big hug. They're like, hey, dude, I love some, and I know exactly what they're talking about. We don't need to harp on it. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I got you. Happy to
Mm-hmm.
do it. And it's yeah, and to say like, oh, you're weak for going up there. No, no, no. It's a lot easier to sit back and go, men don't cry. That's easy. That's the level one thing. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
T- Men
It's
don't.
not even real.
No, it's by the way, it's all horseshit. You don't actually
Yeah.
mean that. You would only say that if you were not okay. The same way, if you have to say embrace the suck, it means it sucks and it's getting to you.
Yeah.
I'm
Otherwise, it
embracing
wouldn't
the
suck.
suck, and it's like no one ever has to
Yeah.
say embrace the suck on a Friday night. You're taking a hot shower. No one's ever like,
Yeah.
embrace this. What are you talking about, man? It's Christmas break. You only embrace the suck when you are very clearly not doing well.
Yeah. The alternative is, oh, I'm experiencing this. How am I? Nothing lasts forever. The only constant is change itself. So no matter what, this will come and this will end. But what benefit am I getting? What possible benefit could I possibly be getting from this really shitty moment right now? And then approaching it from an angle of
hmm
genuine, authentic truth.
What's the
It's not
lesson
faking
here?
it until you
Yeah.
make it.
What's the
It's
skill I can develop from this? What's the
how
this
is
is
this helping me?
yeah, how's this help? We're here. This sucks. How do I get through?
How
It's
is this
I'll
helping
find
me
when I got like kicked off YouTube or kicked off, I'll be like, all right, what is this doing for me? Well,
for you?
yeah,
Yes.
it's unfair. It's okay and okay. What it does mean is you're not getting any help from an algorithm and you're not on these big platforms. Well, what does that realistically mean if you don't, you can quit, but if you don't quit, what would you have to do to compete? I probably have to get better guests. Yeah. Probably have to become an even better interviewer. Yeah. You'd probably have to do more frequent episodes. Okay, let's do this. Now, a couple of years later, you start to go, not only did I get through that, you go, I'm actually better off. And I've had people be like, man, YouTube used to always make my episodes trend and not anymore. I'm like, you're allowed on YouTube? I'm like, I don't even. And I'm like, at the moment, how have you done 1,700 episodes? I'm like, fucking, there is no backup. It's just me. I'm just in this
Yeah.
fucking foxhole, and it's like, get better. Like, let's fucking rock. And now I look at it, and I'm like, I would have never consciously chosen to make building a podcast so difficult. I would have never gone at it.
Yeah.
It has to happen to you. You have
Mhm.
to be dropped in the middle of a field. Your car has to run out of gas for you to walk home on the side of a highway at 3 a.m. You would
Mhm.
never consciously do that. You'd be like, yeah, I'll go for a run tomorrow. I'm not walking on the highway right now. You have
Mhm.
to be fucked in order to, and then if you go through it, you survive it, you accept it, and then you go, I'm actually kind of better off for that because there's a bunch of people who have never been censored or shadow banned, and it shows. You just want your show to do well. You don't know what it's like to have to run some like fucking like CIA front like guerrilla radio and be like, all right, I'm on this platform and that platform. And you can't find me there. And if I'm shadow banned, it's cool. Just type in backslash this. People are like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Like,
Jesus.
yeah, it's I don't know. So yeah, what can you benefit from it? What are you getting from the suck? What lessons do I learn from this? That's a fucking tough thing.
Yes, especially if you were attached to life always being good or happening. You know, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about happiness. Like, screw it. I'm just going to be happy from now on. I was like, uh-oh. And it's not about, there's nothing about life that is designed to always, the only constant is change. It's just when you're happy, how are you experiencing it? And when you're not experiencing happiness, how are you experiencing that? Because if you're not happy and you're like, well, I want to be happy, so I should be over there, you're going to be perpetually suffering.
Hmm.
Because when you are happy, there, when that is the mindset, okay, I'm happy, but I've been happier before. I've got to work towards that. And so it becomes this endless thing to where even happiness, you can't deeply experience happiness. But if you learn to be and surrender to the present moment as it is, that whole shaking thing that we were doing before, or you're just watching, and every once in a while, like these little toddlers will just get in these laughing fits. I think that's probably the happiest that I've ever been, or to see another human being when they're just gut laughing
Oh,
and
and little
there's no
kids are just
reason for
losing
it.
their
It's
shit.
just amazing. I can just sit there and watch that like a
It's
fire.
heroin, dude.
It's
It's
amazing. And you can be in that space and experiencing that fully as it is. And it's not, you're not using beer to or drugs or anything like that to amplify it. You are just fully in the space and just accepting everything as it is, and knowing that what's beautiful about life is the ups and downs, which is hard to explain to people. If all life was awesome, there would literally be no such thing as awesome. You wouldn't even be
well,
able
there
to
would be
feel it.
because it's implied by an absence or an opposite of.
Exactly right. So
Cannot
you
have
couldn't
night.
experience
Yeah,
awesomeness.
yeah. What's happy if everything's happy? Nothing.
It is nothing. You're right. And so, but that also doesn't mean that I'm experiencing, okay, so thank God for the shitty experience so that I can know what it is to be awesome. It's like, what, because nothing is all shitty. Nothing. And that's very, very hard to explain to people too who have experienced the worst and the worst and the worst. So, how can you say that? Well, when you understand the whole idea of being present, which is not an easy thing to understand, it's not an easy thing to experience, not deeply, because there's different levels of present. There's a difference between being present and being presence. So if all you're ever to do is to be able to experience what it is to be present, that's good. Oh, I'm not being present. Right there, I'm being present. When the acknowledgement and the understanding that I'm not being present, but there's deeper to go, and deeper and deeper and deeper until you are presence itself, which means you're tapped in and connected to all things. And then what is there? There
And
is no
then you
lack.
disappear. Yeah, no, it's the event horizon of self and inner. Yeah, there's
You
just
don't need drugs to
experience.
do that.
No, yeah, no. The
You just
deepest
need
meditation is
stillness.
crazier than the most psychedelics.
You
Deep,
just
deep
need
meditation.
stillness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing. Again, me and my brother say is we go. It's almost hard to convey to people to where you'll be like, the worst thing that ever happened was losing your brother to suicide. It was also, and I genuinely mean this, is the single best thing that ever happened to me in my life. It's not a good thing that I found the good in. By far and away has trumped every other experience in my life in terms of what it made me, in terms of what it made, in terms of confidence, in terms of the ability to pick myself up, the ability to be more empathetic to people, to see maybe there's something behind the scenes that I don't see much in the way. No one at, whatever shitty Chinese food delivery job I have, no one there knows that all I'm doing. It's been 3 months since my brother killed him. Like they don't know that. They just think I'm cranky. What do I see in other people? How has it made me be able to grasp with that? How has it made me be able to evaluate things more clearly? Be like, do I really like doing that, or is that just a crutch to help gloss over pain? That's like a tough pill to try to get people to swallow. Be like, no, no, no. It's not just that I found the silver lining in it. It is the best thing that ever happened to me. Now, if I could, would I have prevented it all day long? I would have gladly sacrificed that to have my brother still here. But it happened. It is happening now. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. It's it's very hard to get upset about getting censored on YouTube when you've buried your brother. You're like, yeah, yeah, go fuck yourself. Next.
Yeah.
I got another thing to do, man. Oh, the air conditioning went out. Yeah, no, it's doesn't hold a candle. I've had worse days. That's a tough thing to, which then implies you, the most peaceful moments, the happiest moments are created by the bad ones. And like you said, yeah, but nothing is pure shitty. Even the shitty, worse than a breakup, worse than burying a dog, worse than is actually the best thing that ever happened to me. That's a weird that's a weird Rubik's cube to try to solve for people. To try to solve for yourself, because then you start to feel guilty. You go,
Mhm.
so I know. So if that's the best thing that ever happened to me, because it made me a good person, right? Made me stronger, wiser. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That means now I'm directly benefiting from my brother's death. Yeah. Now, so it's like the military industrial complex. You now have a vested interest in something that is perhaps bad. And it's like, no, because I didn't do that.
You
It
didn't create it.
happens,
Yeah.
but I'm going to make the most out of it. And if anything, I look at it as like it's the ultimate big brother. Like my big brother who like used to buy me alcohol before I was 21. It's your brother looking out for you. It's your brother lying. You're like, no, no, I think no, no. Tom got home early last night. He didn't come home late. No, I don't think that weed smoke is his now. It's like the ultimate big brother move. I do think about it. It's the ultimate big brother move. He fucking took care of me. Now, is that how I just rationalize it? Probably. But I have a really cool life. I'm my own boss. I get to talk. I'm at work right now. You and I having this talk is my job. None of that would be possible without my older brother. To me, I just look at it as like it's the ultimate big brother move. It's just like, yeah, I got you. I don't know if there's really a, it's just a comment. Not really, yeah. There's not really a question in there. But yeah, it's, so how can you only pursue happiness then if it's like, yeah. And then I wonder, is there like a whole life path where you go, well, if a bad thing turned out to be good, maybe I should do the worst things to myself. Like then you have to wonder, you're like, wait. And I'm like,
Go
I'm
for
like,
it.
what if I lit myself on fire? Would I truly? And it's like, if you want, I mean, I suppose.
There are people who, very famous people that everyone and you and I know that is their life objective is to do terrible, hard, horrible things to themselves for the purpose of doing this. And everybody's on their own path, and that's clearly a path for them. I know that it's not my path to go specifically and deliberately out of my way to make myself suffer. I don't have to do anything. The universe has got it in my path.
Yeah.
There's no judgment for anybody else's path, but in my path, I know that the universe will handle all the hiccups and the speed bumps and the ravines and the car crashes. It's going to handle all that. I don't have to go out of my way. I can just be.
Yeah.
I can just be, and it will be as it will be. Will it not?
Yeah. That is, yeah, because like telling stories like that to people, and then I'll be like, I'm like, but you don't have to do that. It's like, but then as like, they're like, hey, if you don't have, I'm like, learn it from me. Go, oh, Tommy, that took Tommy 10 years to figure out. Take that, I'm like, take that little nugget. Take the cheat code. You don't have to go figure it out. Don't worry about it. Don't do that. Don't be
There's no
stupid.
cheat codes in life, man. There isn't. If you
Well,
really, really want to learn, you have to really, really know. And the only
yeah,
way you're going to really, really know is by getting your teeth kicked in.
yeah,
And that's with smart people like my ex-wife. She didn't have to make mistakes on her own. This happened to this happened to them, this, I'm not going to do that. And she navigated through life without experiencing some of those things. And for me, on the whole other spectrum of the way that I'm smart, which is a different way. I'm like, oh, that should happen. I wonder if that would happen if I did the exact same thing.
I'll bet I, I'll bet. I'll bet that diving board won't break under me. I know it broke under him. I bet that branch will hold. Dude, I remember when I was
Uh,
like 10, I grabbed a fire poker. I had my older brother put it in backwards. So like the burning hot end.
oh,
It wasn't like red, it had cooled down to where it was black, but it was still I
fucking
touched it,
hot.
fucking burned my hand. I'm Tommy, my cousin Tyler, who's exactly like me. He's just my uncle's son. Was like it's like less than a year older than me. He went right up to it, grabbed the same thing, and burned it. And I remember my uncle looked at him. He was like, he was stupid. He shouldn't have grabbed that. He was like, "What are you doing? You just saw him." We're both
It's so
crying, and
funny.
he was like, "You idiot." Yeah, no,
It-
I don't. I'm like that too. No, I think I have that more like you, where I'm like, that probably wouldn't happen to me. Like,
Probably, dude. I'm the luckiest person I
dude,
ever met. Watch this.
I'm built,
Bam.
I'm built different. That won't hurt me.
Yeah. Well, you went to medical school, or
No, no,
you at least were
I got in. I didn't get, I
you
stayed
got in,
up. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So let's say you go to medical school, and the whole entire time everybody was giving you the answers for all the tests that were coming up, and you passed, and you became a doctor.
that would be so bad.
Your first day in the emergency room would be a
Homicide. It
catastrophe.
would be
Yeah, it would be
homicide.
homicide.
Yeah,
There are lessons that we have to learn on
yeah,
our own for this to matter. It's not, you believe me, no one is going to experience what it is to simply and powerfully be present without running all over the map and worrying about the future and the past and all this. It just can't happen. You can't know what that is. So it can't, and you weren't saying this, but there are people like, how do I get through life as easily as possible without as many hiccups as possible?
sure.
Because hiccups suck. And there's all the love for that. Yeah, I hear you because I heard that within me. And it's just, you can either learn or there's something that's called spiritual bypass where it's like, okay, I've got that lesson, but you really don't. But it's because I know what it takes to learn that lesson, and that looks really terrible, and I don't want anything to do with that process. It's like, okay, totally hear you, totally. And you're never going to know.
Yeah,
You're never going to know.
yeah. No, that's something where, yeah. Yeah, again, it's kind of like embrace the suck. If you have to tell yourself, like, okay, I learned that. No, okay, you probably didn't. It's when you learn a lesson, you no longer even look at it as a lesson. You just accept it as self-evident being. You go, oh, yeah, that. You don't have to learn the lesson of gravity. It's there. But it means you will never know that lesson, though. When I look at things that happen, I go, oh, yeah, no, I never went into the military. I never went through, special forces training or like, they fucking drown you. I'm like, oh, okay. I won't learn what's from that. I don't want to. Okay. But,
Perfect.
but it does mean that you don't get to know that. It's just what it is. It's just
It
fine.
just is.
You also don't have to know that. There's no good or bad in not having the lesson.
Hmm.
It's not a report card. But it's
I
just,
don't
yeah,
know algebra,
yeah.
which I'm entirely fine with.
I failed pre-calculus 4 semesters in a row. No, calculus 4 semesters in a row.
You made it farther than
Finally,
me, man.
finally, my advisor was like, "You have like a perfect GPA and everything else. You aced the MCAT." And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "You literally have to pass calculus. Like, you can't graduate and thus can't go to medical school." And I finally was like, ah, "Fine." Like, you can't just keep failing calculus. But yeah, I can. Watch me. Perfect score, everything else.
Our education system is so silly.
Yeah, no, it's
We're short a doctor because of calculus. It's so relevant.
hey, listen.
Irrelevant. Anyway, yeah.
Um, But yeah, we've been going for an hour and a half, so I said we wrap this up. But that was fantastic, man. I'd love to have you on again sometime. That was
Yeah. We
therapy.
didn't
I
even get
love
to the
that.
meat suit.
That was very good. Well, we didn't what?
We didn't even get to the meat suit yet.
Oh yeah. Oh, we
So
can.
funny. Oh, we still have a ways to go, I think, before it would, yeah, it's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
big stuff. Yeah.
We'll schedule another one. But yeah, dude, that was deeply therapeutic. I appreciate that. It's
Oh, you're welcome.
yeah. No, I do. Some shows I leave and I feel very stressed out after, and then there are shows like this where I feel like I got a massage. So thank you for the massage.
Oh,
Um,
you're welcome. You're
but
welcome.
where can people find you if people want to follow you or learn more about you, and or we can just do another show and that's where they can learn more about you.
Um, San Diego. I'm joking, but I I live in
I,
San Diego.
I don't know. I'm over there.
Yeah.
You can physically find me. Come get me.
Um, so my companies are Warrior Side, which is helping veterans and first responders tell their story consciously with the purpose of connecting to the self and community. So that's warriorside.org. And then my coaching practice, the Trident approach. That's where we really just focus on conscious coaching. And then I'm also a psychedelic integration coach with Heroic Hearts Project, and that's heroicheartsproject.org. And that's where we take veterans to, um, I take them to Peru and we sit with ayahuasca and they go through their own healing stuff and that kind of thing. So those are, so I, oh, and most of my social media is on LinkedIn under Diego Ugalde. And, and that's where I can interact more on Instagram. I can interact more on Facebook. I haven't yet started X and I won't do TikTok yet. So, LinkedIn is probably the biggest thing, but yeah, Warrior Side, the Trident approach, and the Royal Cards Project is where I spend most of my time.
I'm gonna have you text those to me. I'll copy and paste them into the description. But yeah, dude, I would legitimately love to have you back on. That was very, not even for other people. I hope somebody else cut something out of the show, but not even for them, for me. Very selfishly, I want to have you back on because that was very helpful for me.
Yeah. Oh, we have a book too, Leading from the Deep. We'll put that in some of the things that we talked about are in there. Yeah, Leading from the Deep, a Navy SEAL psychedelic approach to conscious leadership. And it seems to be really, really helpful for people who are navigating the healing path because it's not just about leadership. It's about leading the self through the path of healing. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Send me those links. I'll copy and paste them all, and I'll send you the Spotify link. Will be up today, and then whatever it is on Rumble will be like Monday or something. Um, but dude, I appreciate your time, and I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that talk. That was extremely helpful for me. So thank you, man.
You're welcome, Tom. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. All right, brother.
All
Till
right.
next time. Much
Yeah,
love.
man.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so